I'd like to go through how to use an electronic leak detector, and the one we'll be looking at is from Master Cool. I'd like to explain the Master Cool leak detector. The long sensing one that you see coming off the front of it is designed so you can reach into areas that you couldn't get your hand into. So you could get to the base of the condenser, TXV connections, any of the CRIP connectors on flexible lines, so that you could get in there and actually see if there's a leak around those components back of a compressor. The sensing tip is designed to be back dragged. In other words, you'd be pulling that backwards instead of pushing it forward. That way you don't get debris and dirt into the sensing tip. They recommend that you go around all the connections, top and bottom, just because that way you could pinpoint a very small refrigerant leak. So looking at the operating buttons of the electronic leak detector, there's an on-off switch. Once you turn it on, you're going to get one green LED shown. Then you have an up-down button in the lower portion there for sensitivity, so you can increase or decrease the sensitivity depending upon the size of the leak. And then there's a reset button that you'd push to reset everything back to the base settings. Using an electronic leak detector, trying to find the leak on this vehicle. As you move the leak detector around, you're going to hear that it starts off with a low chirp type noise, and the LED lights are green. As it gets closer to a leak, they're going to change red, and the beeping is going to increase to a very rapid. High points to remember here is to back drag the sensing tip. You don't want to push it forward. That way you won't get dirt and debris in there. Make sure you don't put the sensing tip into liquid refrigerant. If you can see a severe leak, you don't want to put the sensing tip in there. Along with that, water will also damage the sensing tip, so make sure you don't put the sensor into the condensation drain on the air distribution box. That could damage the tip. You should move the tip along slowly, the areas that you're checking. Make sure you go around all the connections so you don't miss anything. Pressure in the AC system should be high enough to engage the compressor clutch. Trying the system, if it won't engage the compressor clutch, you may have to put a charge of refrigerant into the system just to find the leak and then recover it so you can repair the leak. You want to make sure when you're doing the actual leak testing that the engine is turned off. That way airflow under the hood would be minimized, and along with that, static pressure in the low side would be higher, because we wouldn't be creating a pressure differential with the compressor off. Airflow in the shop should be limited. Someone could be spraying a chemical somewhere in the shop, and airflow could move that chemical into the area where you're doing a test, and these can be triggered by other chemicals. So brake clean, windshield solvent, some of those chemicals will set these electronic leak detectors off, so you want to be careful about that. Hopefully this is helpful. Hope in the future you get to do some actual AC work. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully this was very helpful.